absolutely this. People in America have disdain for the poor. But why? Why are we like this? I can tell you where a big portion of it started. Since around the 1980s, the Reagan administration had been pushing this idea in this country that this country was built on individualism. No matter how bad your life started out, you can pull yourself up by your bootstraps and you can get ahead too. You can be the next millionaire or billionaire. And if you can't seem to do that, that's a you problem. That is a moral failing on your part. And this leads to the erroneous assumption that the poor are just not trying hard enough. And one of the most breathtakingly horrible stances he ever took was the myth of the welfare queen. Although in the story he never specifically said anything about a particular race, he described this woman in Chicago who apparently was the model for how this is done. She has 80 names, 30 addresses, 12 social security cards, and is collecting veterans benefits on 4 non-existing deceased husbands. And she's collecting on her social security cards. She's got Medicaid, getting food stamps, and collecting welfare under each of her names. Her tax-free cash income alone is over $150,000. These are your hard-earned tax dollars that she is stealing from you, America. If we would have had memes back then, that guy would have looked like Reagan. But speaking of this meme, that looks like Rupert Murdoch, which means that right-wing media had a big say in all this. These rich people that own newspapers and news stations, they put out all of this information that demonizes the poor and holds up the rich. There may be 5 cases of welfare fraud, but they're going to show every single one of them and make it seem like it happens all the time. But if they find fraud from CEOs or corporations, maybe let's just kind of softly put that one out there. Maybe put it on like the last page. That way we have proof that we covered that story even though it got buried in a lot of other stories. And these newspapers and news stations are always pushing the narrative that unemployment is high because these people just don't want to work anymore. There are all these jobs that are available, but nobody seems to want to do them. I wonder why. Could it be because those jobs still pay way below the poverty rate? But then they take that a step further. They say, the reason why they're on these government assistance programs is because the government assistance is too high. Because there's not a chance that the wages are just too low. It's the government assistance that's the problem. The bottom line here is that disdain for the poor is not about the poor. It's about propaganda about the poor. And until we are able to change the narrative of why there are so many poor people in this country, it's never going to get any better.